Alright guys, since we got our hub motor in, I think next I want to take and make the little brackets that are going to hold our suspension down. So we have a pretty good idea exactly where it's going to sit height-wise. So we'll go ahead and make some tabs up, drill them out, and then weld them to the frame and weld them to the swing arm. Alright, so for this, we're going to use the outside edge of our backrest. We're going to use that as a starting point for our mounting tabs. We want to make sure that we have enough protruding out past the edge of the bushing right here. We'll do 2.5 inches. We're going to need 2 of these, one for either side, so I'll just go ahead and cut them up right now, and then we will go from there. This bracket to be pretty much in line with the load that's going to be on it. Right about here. You want to give it enough space over here so you can still pivot. So we'll go ahead and clamp this down, and then do a weld, tack it in place, and then we'll just mirror it on the other side. Now when we go up, it comes up right about here. I did not get the spool gun switch in, but I did manage to borrow a welder with a spool gun from a buddy of mine. So we're gonna go ahead and do our finishing welds on all this so we can finish up our suspension and get everything mounted up permanently. Alright, so I didn't get it on camera because the battery died, but I did get all the back suspension mounted up. Just need to snug up the bolts here and then crop them to length. So far looks great. It supports my weight. I still want to take and put in 2 little cross braces from here down to here on the sides on both of them. That way it offsets the load that these put on this armature. And from that point we'll see what we do next. So right now I'm going to take and do up the front end, weld up the front steering rack the rest of the way, and then we can start thinking about possibly doing the roll bar at some point here. But that isn't critical for what we have going on with this project. So we'll press on and do the roll bar at some point. Okay, so there's one more area that we need to weld before we can actually get this rolling, and it is right here. So you can see how it's got the flat sides of the axle right here. Those are supposed to be so it locks in and it doesn't rotate. So we're gonna have to take and put a spacer and weld it in on the bottom side of the swing arm so it matches the width of it right here. And once we got that welded in, to take and do a little hole on the other side right here and put a little block on that side, so we can take and do our torque block. And our torque block is this guy right here. So it slides in over the axle, and then this back part, it gets a bolt through it into the swing arm, and that keeps it from twisting out of a frame. Alright, so now I went ahead and welded these tabs on. We have our fastening hole for our torque arm. So it's going to be right here and on the other side. And that's going to keep it from just twisting the motor on us when we snap the throttle. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the wheel on, not taking it back off again. So yeah.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.